And I found this new feature that I can do on TradingView that I'm really excited. I didn't know you could do this. I've been, on TradingView for a long time. I learned something new. Maybe this is a new feature. I don't think so, though. I think I've seen this before. I just didn't know what it does. You can actually make your analysis time frame dependent. And I'm so happy about it because check this out. So look how I have all my drawings on the daily chart, right? But watch what happens if I go to the 4-hour chart, blank slate. And that's how I actually like it. I know sometimes people like to do multi-time frame analysis, which is true, but sometimes a zone is not meant to be so, I don't know how to explain it. I like to draw my zones kind of dependent on the time frame that you're looking at. So this daily chart level that I've got drawn here, let me load up my pen so I can take a look at it. By the way, thank you very much. We had lots of people saying happy birthday. I appreciate all of you guys. Put you between 25 and 30. Okay, so I look somewhat my age, except don't call me 30 yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it. 2000, I've pointed out I really like 2000 an ounce. If it comes into play, I'll be a buyer. But we didn't get the chance to be one. I was really watching. I had my chart marked up. I was looking at this Asian session last night saying, hey, if it pops down there, I might get my chance to enter finally. Well, I say finally. I'll get my second attempt. The first one went horribly wrong. I bought gold on the pullback right here, and it completely fell apart. So now what I like about this time frame specific thing here, Jesse asked, have you ever used a trade locker to trade? No, I haven't. I'm pretty set in my ways. I really only like trading on TradingView. And I'm able to do that. I don't know why my broker's not logged in. Usually I'm logged into WeBull so I can show off my S&P trade and not talk about my gold loss that I took. I'm kidding. I've talked about both. But I want to show you something, guys, on the 1-hour chart. So now that we've done our daily chart perspective, the bias is up, right? And I like this because now I can do my analysis and have a fresh chart based on the time frame. I prefer it that way. So I'm at the daily chart. Boom. Clearly, I think price is headed up overall. But then is there an entry that we might be able to find on the 1-hour? And then you start getting kind of interested here. So again, daily chart looks bullish overall. The question then becomes, can we get a breakout? And again, now I like this time frame dependent stuff. How do you do that, by the way? Oh, I forgot to show you how you guys could do that too. So click on an item. Kind of annoying you have to do this for every single item, but check this out. Visibility on intervals. Play around with this on your own TradingView, guys, and just go to current interval only or current interval and below. So for the 1-hour chart, I'm just going to go current interval and below and check this out. So I've got my visibility. If I go down to the 30-minute chart, my levels are still there. But if I go to the 2-hour chart, it's not there. Kind of cool. I really like that. You can customize stuff a lot. Now that we've got gold pulled up on the hourly chart, I'll show you guys what I'm looking for. So remember, refresher, daily chart, overall strong upward trend. Really good. Then you go down to the 1-hour chart, looking at resistance here. Can we get the breakout? Because that actually could be joining the trade in the broader picture. Does that make sense? Type yes in the chat if you made sense of that daily chart, then down to the 1-hour chart analysis. How many screens do you use? Gareth, I use 2 screens, one for my my charting and edge finder, and one for the streaming software. By the way, guys, let me make sure I have the latest data, but I do believe gold is still, yep, gold is a very bullish reading on the edge finder. So why is gold a very bullish reading? I'll show you. So what the edge finder does, if you're new to my streams, I am a big believer in technical analysis, but I am more so a believer in understanding the fundamental components of the markets. By the way, we've got 5 minutes until we get our next fundamental pulse read. We've got unemployment claims coming out in 4 minutes. And I want to talk about something in regards to this. So if you're looking at the edge finder and you're looking at, well, is gold bullish? Are the pound pairs, are the dollar pairs going higher or lower? What I look to the edge finder for is I look at all of these metrics, the commitment of traders data, retail sentiment, seasonal data. If you don't know what these things are, by the way, stick around the stream. We cover them all the time. And the overall idea here is that most of these things pointing to one direction, bullish or bearish, that is what gives us these strong readings. Every new trader has probably heard about the concept of like confluence, like lining up the RSI and the trend lines and support and resistance. We've probably all done that 15,000 different times. But what traders don't often think about is confluence amongst the fundamentals, when the fundamentals are what really drive the market. The market does not move higher or lower in the longer term based purely on technical analysis. While I do like technicals for getting a pulse on entries and exits and risk management, the market doesn't move based on technicals. The market moves on fundamentals. If the Bank of England comes out today and says, we're ready to start cutting rates, boom, there goes the pound to the downside. It'll drop 50 pips across everything really, really quick, right? So my point is, fundamentals are what really drive the market. So if you can get a pulse, if you can understand the story in some way or another, it is going to be powerful in your analysis. So when I take a look at my two top setups right now, I've got a very bullish reading on gold and pound. So then what I do is I go and I look at the technicals and I say, well, is there a bullish setup on this chart on the hourly? No, not just yet. But remember, context is key. Daily chart up, nice upward trend. Nearing support, I would have liked to catch it on this support, but if we miss it, then it's possible we're just going higher without retesting support, and that can happen. So then, okay, so overall context is bullish on gold. Then I go to the 1 hour chart and I say, well, we've got resistance here on the hourly. Let's see if that level can break. It's got a strong candle going for it right now. So if we get a strong close above this level of resistance, I will look for longs, okay? If that made sense, do me a quick favor and type yes in the chat. Okay, you start with the Edge Finders confirmations across the board. Look at labor statistics, look at inflation numbers, look at the economic output of these various countries. And these things that really drive price around, we look at them. We don't ignore them. Most traders will just ignore them. Retail traders love to just look at solely charts. And while I think that can be useful, understanding the story and what's really driving is really important. So COT also went really long gold recently, and I love to see that. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my chance to join this move with a possible breakout and retest of this 2035 level, or on the daily chart, a bigger retest of 2000. So I'll probably be looking to buy the break and retest of this level I've got on the screen right in front of us, or a bigger term pullback at 2000. Sean says full margin buy. Please don't do that. Please don't full margin buy anything ever. That is a really bad idea. I think you're just kidding. But yeah, so this is again, big rejection off of gold, but the bigger picture I think is still bullish. By the way, we've got news. I'm going to miss it. Am I going to miss it? I'm close. We got 30 seconds. I'm not going to miss news today. We've got unemployment claims coming out in 30 seconds. Will it move prices? Well, we'll see. Let's take a quick look and see if we can get our charts pulled up, 15-minute, and we got breaking news coming in right now. All right, I got the S&P bottom right, dollar index, gold top left for you guys who are gold bugs. Let's put up the euro. All right, coming in, unemployment claims. Let's see if it moves anything this morning. All right, gold slipping to the downside here, trading from 2034 down to 2030 real quick. S&P in the pre-market is slightly up. Let's switch over to SPX so we can see that. SPX 500 floating higher in the pre-market. Euro dollar finding some, oh, look at that volatility. Euro dollar blipping around here this morning. Gold rejecting so far at 2034. As I mentioned, I need that breakout in order to qualify me into an entry for gold. I'm watching for gold longs this morning, as I mentioned in the chat here just a few minutes ago. We were talking about that. 220K came out for unemployment claims. That is pretty much as expected. And everything seems to be staying in line this week for the most part. Slight cooling in the jobs numbers. Actually, even cooler than expected. So there is a possibility that this does reverse and gold spikes back above the highs. Miko, this dollar move, is it time for fresh lows? Or I don't know, what do you think? Is this dollar index move Is it time to roll over, or do you think it's breaking out? What do you have for us on the dollar side?
I'm actually pretty bearish on dollar as well.
Okay.
Find it. There we go. So I'm pretty bearish on dollar as well. I'm looking for price to come back into these lows, which I think a similar move you're looking for as well. I was hoping for dollar to retrace a little bit higher this week back to this area here, because it's kind of, I was looking at Euro USD and dollar, and they're very similar, especially this week. Euro USD is kind of pulled back a little bit deeper, but I've been looking for DXY to place a little high somewhere around here. It may not happen. We may form around here and continue, but I do think there is more downside to be had with the DXY. The bearish trend is pretty much still intact. Still looking at this as a pullback, very corrective behavior. Not really seeing signs of a reversal. Typically, when we're looking at reversal, we normally see big moves breaking through highs, but we're not really seeing that. It's very sluggish in behavior, which normally does mean we're going to see that higher time frame trend continue. So pretty bearish across the board for dollar. And if I just touch on Euro USD, looking for Euro to come higher as well. But this one pulled back a little bit better than the DXY, but nonetheless, if the DXY is going to fall, Euro USD is most likely going to move higher. So hopefully you can find some buys for this one pretty soon. But yeah, I'm looking for a similar move across the board.
Yeah, I like your concept on the euro there, and I've got it pulled up on my side. So we've got the same support drawn, and probably a lot of people in the audience have this same level. So it seems like euro really. I mean, it was what is this, the daily chart? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. Here on the 7th day, it seems like the euro's finding a low off of this dollar weakness, and I think, if you're somebody watching the euro, you also have to kind of step back and look at it and say, well, this thing has had a monster move. It was due for a pullback. We're now getting that pullback. And I think that it's probably still intact to go higher. I would agree with you on that. From the fundamental side, again, we've got that dollar trend, and you can also see it just in the technicals. The dollar is trending nicely to the downside, and off of this daily chart for the dollar specifically, it seems like it's finding sellers. You pointed out dollar downtrend seems still intact. I would agree. Only thing I will say, as I do, and I know you do this as well, Miko, is like you always kind of have to think about stop levels and like how you call a trade wrong as soon as possible. So for me, I guess with dollar index, trend is not necessarily dead, but put a pause on it if we break through these highs here. So if this dollar does make an advance and pushes through the highs, that would be kind of a stop out point, kind of a pause point. Now you pointed out off of the daily chart, a bigger pullback could kind of be that next level where it start to get interesting again. I think you had 105 marked, which so again, maybe, if that zone breaks, we get kind of a zone to zone move. But I like to game plan like that. I know you and I, Miko, we've done this for a while together. We do a lot of game planning. You've kind of got to think like, if this happens, then I'm doing this. Because of course, Miko, tomorrow we have NFP, which is going to cause some volatility. So euro dollar, you mentioned, do you have any trades on euro? And I guess to go with that, any trades going into NFP or things that you're really watching?
Yeah, I mean, my main focus is mainly dollar pairs. I haven't been in the markets too much the past couple of weeks, coming off a losing streak, so I'm being extra picky with my trades. But yeah, no trades for me at the moment. Not too sure if I'll get into anything going into NFP. I think euro dollar is becoming very interesting, especially with the news that has happened a few moments ago. If you can start breaking higher and see some higher highs and higher lows, I'll be keen for some longs. I'm not too sure if that will set up for me today. I've only got about maybe three hours left of my trading window. So if it doesn't set up, then I'll come back tomorrow. If it doesn't set up early hours in the morning, then I probably won't touch it because of NFP. I also do like dollar CAD as well, not too far away from this area here, seeing some nice lower lows and low highs. So still try and take advantage of some dollar weakness in this area of confluence. Maybe we can push up. Maybe I can get a trade before NFP. If not, then it might be for next week, or it might be without me. And I also do like silver a lot as well. Prefer silver a little bit to gold. I think price actions a little bit tidier, but they're very correlated. So most likely they're going to do the exact same thing. But I also do like silver, and it's a similar situation to euro as well. I'm kind of waiting for price to start giving me some higher highs and higher lows. And same thing with euro, which looks like we might be seeing the start of that. But yeah, no trades for me at the moment, but those kind of my main focus.
Fair enough. And I wanted to show you something on the euro. For those of you guys watching the euro, like Miko and I, this is the hourly chart. You've had this really regimented selling, and to your point there, Miko, we've just had some dollar news that gave a little bit of life here to the euro. Potentially, again, we saw off the daily chart that we're hitting support, and now that we're on the 1 hour chart, you can see this downward trend seems to be potentially breaking out. So you've got some support here that could retest, and perhaps this is a lower time frame idea, of course, but based on the higher time frame, right? So we go to that daily chart, we've got boom, support hit, upward trend overall, and probably a technical oversold move here. Then you go down to the hourly chart, and a nice little break out here on the trend line. And also, just to add, from the fundamental side, mostly liking the edge finders reading as well. We're getting a +5 bullish reading on the edge finder, and I'm sure you've heard and seen me talk about it many times, Miko, but basically looking at the fundamentals, there's some nice factors here. You've got economic figures overall, liking the upside here for the euro. So I think that adds a nice confirmation as well. Daily chart looks good, hourly chart breaking out. Euro seems like it has potential upside. Now, I guess I talked for like 15 minutes straight before you joined the call about the gold market. Do you have any thoughts on gold right now, Miko?
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on gold. As I said, I do prefer the price action on silver, and I kind of find that gold and silver very similar. So if I can find a better trade on whichever one, I'll focus on that one. But gold is the same bias as me as well. Of course, we had that crazy move to start the week off. So the all-time highs piercing that level. So with gold, I'm looking for another move back into 2064, which is kind of the all-time high resistance, if you will, this level here. If we can start breaking through, then yeah, I do expect the wick to eventually fill back to that 2150 area. But the only thing I don't like with gold is that we have been a little bit choppy in this area here. With silver's kind of retraced a little bit tidier and it's come to a nice area. So if I can see a break of that, I'll be more than happy to find some longs. With gold, it's kind of almost consolidation, if you will. So if we get a sharp break, things become interesting. Some pullbacks as well. Definitely on a retest of this high here becomes interesting. And some longs back to that 2060, 2070 area. And then we see from there, you know, do we go and break through it? Do we respect it? I'm not too sure. Longer term, I do favor gold to eventually break through, but I'm not too sure from a technical standpoint. We have another pullback first before we do see that bigger move. But yeah, it looks like some life is coming back into the market for gold. Overall, quite choppy in this area, so I'm not a big fan, but if you see some momentum coming back, some pullbacks after that may look good.
Yeah, no, I think I've said it several times on my side. You know, gold on the daily chart, I have from a daily chart perspective, the only entry I had would be a 2000 mark pullback. Again, you've got key support looking left. It's pretty obvious, big psychological level. Almost to the point where it's like, if it's so obvious, everyone's going to play it. That's a little bit sketchy, but still, I think sometimes the simplest technical analysis can really work. I mean, Miko, what you put together for the show, and I always appreciate this about your analysis, is it's understandable even to somebody who is probably pretty new to this stuff. And that's kind of the point. I mean, same thing with my technicals. It's not meant to be this, you know, super archaic, confusing hieroglyphic language. I think it's really quite simple, and that's why it actually can work, is the simplest stuff. But to your point, you mentioned this earlier, you had a losing streak last month or so. Before that, I had like 3 months of just grind. And so I think it's also important to point out to the audience, when you see people like Miko or myself or Marco, we have so many people that come on the show, they'll talk openly about their losing streaks. I think that to me is like the #1 indicator of somebody you should follow. Do they talk about their losing streaks? Because this stuff is hard. And even if you have a great strategy, great strategies can still get crushed during certain periods of the market. If you trade a trending style and the market goes sideways, it's going to be hard. And if you trade a sideways market, the markets are trending, obviously it's going to be hard as well.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free Edge Finder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.